Hey, good morning, and welcome to the Sherri-Lee Show. I am Sherri-Lee and of course, I'm your host for the Sherri-Lee Show on my Facebook page, Sherri-Lee. So, I'm glad that you're joining me here today. It's Easter Monday. It's kind of an odd day. Some people are working, some people aren't working. I'm working because I want to always keep pushing forward with momentum on my goals. So I see some people are joining me, so say hi, let me know who is here and where you are joining me from, where you're watching from, so that I can say hi to you and share your Facebook page, because I would love to give you a shout out and support you in growing your business. So you know that my purpose is to help. Maybe you don't know. Let me just give you a quick little synopsis of who I am and what I do, in case you don't know. So I started my business in the fall of 2010. And my intention was to create a part-time revenue stream for myself. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you all the way from Ireland. Thank you for being here. Share your Facebook page so that I can give you a shout out. So I started my business in 2010, and the point was to create a part-time business that allowed me to get out into the community and teach local entrepreneurs how to use Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn to grow their business. I was quite happy homeschooling my two kids, who were 6 and 10 at the time, and staying at home with them and being, an at-home mom. And my husband at the time was supporting our family. 6 months after I started my business, he decided he no longer wanted to be married. And when I was out with the kids one Friday afternoon, he changed the locks on our family home and said, "Don't bother coming home." And he changed our locks and he changed our lives in so many ways. And it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. I'm grateful to him every day. I thank him every day for the way he did things. And not at the time. I was a little bit devastated, as were the kids, more than a little bit. We were a lot devastated. And I didn't know what to do. I really didn't have any substantial income. I had no savings. I discovered he'd left me with almost $1 million in debt. I had a house that I couldn't afford, that I didn't want, that was filled to the rafters with his stuff. And I had two devastated kids who really just couldn't make sense of what had happened. He changed the locks that day and then left the country. And, it's 9 years later and we've never heard from him or seen him since. So we really were hurtled into an unexpected place that left us, there was an opportunity. Were we devastated by this? For sure. But were we going to let that be our story about this? Hi, Malgorzata. So, the first 18 months, it was a blur. I don't really remember a lot. It was a lot of panic about get rid of the house and try to pay off this debt and get up every day, because I was devastated. I had really devoted and given everything to him, and I knew that we weren't in a good place. I knew we were going to split up and divorce. I didn't know he was going to go that extreme. And in retrospect, I should have known for sure. So the first 18 months were kind of a blur, and I just started saying yes to every opportunity that came up. And that was not a great strategy for growing a business. I worked every hour I possibly could. I really thought that that's what I needed to do. I'd never grown a business before. I'd only ever been an employee, and I saw each of my clients that I had as my boss. And I had a lot of devastation and insecurities that came with me through my marriage and from before, and he had made things worse, and there was a lot of really unhealthy, unpleasant things that went on during our marriage. And I carried that over as a contractor, as a self-employed person, because I didn't understand what it meant and how to be self-employed. So every time I got an email from a client, I went into panic mode and thought, oh my God, they don't like me anymore. They're going to fire me, because I expected everyone to do what he did. It's taken a lot of years to work through all of the baggage that he left behind for me in those years. And after about 18 months, the fog started to clear, and I started to really focus on what it was that I wanted in my business and what I wanted my business to look like. And I started making changes to how my business ran. And I, over the next few years, made changes and really focused on getting to know me and really honoring who I am. And, over the time, I've worked with clients that weren't the right clients. I've worked with all kinds of clients implementing their Facebook for them, their Facebook strategies, managing their Facebook page for them, running their Facebook ads for them. And I took clients that I probably shouldn't have, but I said yes, and my objectives were the wrong place. And, there were some awful experiences. There were some tremendous experiences. And over the years, a lot of clarity came about. And what I discovered mainly was, and it leads really nicely into this question that I received earlier over the weekend from somebody. And, it really had me thinking about, how do I get clients? And for a lot of the time, it was based on referrals. I went to networking events locally and I met people, and then I followed up. If I could get to speak at an event, at a networking event where I was in front of entrepreneurs, I could certainly present well enough to get conversations started with people. But I found that over the years, it was very haphazard. There wasn't a lot of focus on my part to how I got clients. And that's changed substantially over the last few years. Now it's very focused and it's very strategic, and I'm very clear on who I want to work with. And I no longer say yes to every opportunity. And in fact, say no to people, because I want to work with people who are in a situation where they are ready and able and willing to do the work that they need to do to grow their business. And that's how I got here. And that's been 9 years of pushing and shoving and working every hour I could work. And now I'm at a place where I'm starting to create, and I'm starting to plan for the future, and I'm starting to be selective and choose the opportunities and the experiences that I have, and be much more strategic in being proactive instead of reactive in my business, being proactive in reaching out to people who I think would be a good fit to work together, being proactive in following up with people that I meet and prospects and clients, and being proactive in making sure that I get visible, getting onto podcasts, getting into interviews, getting local speaking gigs. So it's all about being proactive. And this leads really nicely. I got an email from Nancy over the weekend, and she said to me, I'm doing everything that I think I need to do. I've got a Facebook personal page, I've got a Facebook business page, I've got a Facebook group, I'm posting, I get very little engagement, and I'm not getting clients coming to me. And what do I do to get clients? And this really stood out for me because it resonated with me, because that's what I did for a few years. Early on is I posted, and I thought all I have to do is create the place and post, and people will get to know me, and then they will come to me. And that's what Nancy's struggling with right now, and that's why she wrote to me. And I think a lot of people do that. It's kind of like the field of dreams approach to social media marketing. I create the platform, I create my network, I post as best as I can, as often as I can, as frequently as I can, and I hope from that I get connections and I get interactions with people, and somebody comments on my post, or somebody then messages me and says, hey, I'm really impressed with the results you got for somebody else, can you get them for me? And we wait, and we are reactive in our business instead of proactive in our business. And I think a lot of people are like that in general. And I think the thing that we have to remember is people are getting inundated and overwhelmed with content, with offers, with ads, with calls to action all the time on our Facebook newsfeed. We see this all the time. And how do we pick one person from the next person? How do we select? It's all through, rapport and relationship building. It goes back to that every day. If you go to a networking event and just walk around and hand out your cards and say, I do this, let's go for coffee, let's have a talk, people aren't going to be as inspired to follow up with you and say yes, they want that, unless they know what you can do for them. And it's the same on social media. If all you do is create your page and then post about yourself, about your offers, about your prospects, about what you do, about your sales, people will get tired of that, because you're coming at it from a place of what's in it for you, not what's in it for your audience. So when we're thinking about getting clients from Facebook specifically, we want to think about how can we connect with people and how can we build relationships with people, but then how can I take the lead on that relationship and move it forward? How can I use my content on Facebook to reach the right people and get them seeing me so they know I exist? Then how can I use that content to do some market research and select and be self-selecting, so that people start raising their hands, or they start interacting with the right kind of content that tells me as the marketer a little bit about where they are on their business and who they are, and helps me pre-qualify them a little bit with my content. And then how do I get proactive? Do I get them into a messenger conversation? And do I use that conversation as a way to be curious and exploring about them? Or do I use that conversation to just say what I do and talk about what I do and what I offer? Or do I use it to learn about them? And do I use a proactive approach to get people to sign up to my email list? Do I reach out to people? Do I run ads for that? Or do I just sit back and hope that the little effort that I put in is going to be enough? And I bet you it's not enough. I bet you that you are not getting the results that you want, and you're not connecting with the right people. So for Nancy's question, how to get clients, there's 4 steps. I've broken it down into 4 steps, and these 4 steps work. Grow your presence, engage your audience, collect leads, so email addresses, messenger conversations, grow your group, seed your website custom audience using the Facebook pixel, build a video view audience by doing regular Facebook Lives. And then, only then do you start to sell to people. And by then, you don't have to do the sales that are the hard sales that a lot of people think of. You don't have to be pushy. You don't have to be forceful. It can then be an invitation to people who know you, to people who resonate with you, and people who feel a connection with you. And then when you just present the invitation to them, they are responsive because they know you. But a lot of people try to jump to the collecting leads and the collecting and doing sales way before they've done the relationship building. And that's why it doesn't work. That's why we are saddened or disappointed with our results. So we need to spend time in those first 2 steps, growth and engagement, before we get to collecting leads and making sales. And when we do that, we can have our sales can be so much more enjoyable and heart-centered. And I used to hate sales because I felt like sales had to be really pushy. And we've been having a really interesting conversation on my profile about this recently, where I was speaking to somebody, and one of the objections we hear people say when we are offering our programs and our services to them is, I can't afford that. And I've always heard from people, well, if people are saying they can't afford it, then you, the seller, haven't done a good enough job telling people what the value is for them. And I've agreed with that. And what I have discovered recently is there's another component to this that I don't think is talked about an awful lot, and I think this is an important component, and that is that sometimes people just can't afford it. They want it, but they can't afford it. And I've heard people say, well, if you've really positioned it and you've told them the value, they will find the money. But I've been in a situation in the past where I really wanted a program and I could not find the money. I had nobody to borrow money from. I've been, on my own and literally creating every penny that I need every month. And I can't always just say, well, I'm not going to feed the kids this month and in order to buy this program. So sometimes people really genuinely cannot afford it, even if they believe in the value. But the other side of it is they have to believe that they're going to do the work, because they can believe the value is there, and you can make it as easy as possible and spoon feed it to them. They still have to do something different than what they've done before in order to get the results that they know you've promised and that they believe you can help them achieve. But if they aren't willing to do the work, sometimes I can't afford it means I am not ready to do the work. I'm afraid to step out and be bold. I'm afraid to be something different. I'm afraid to go live on Facebook. I'm afraid to be visible. That's a big one quite often. So when you're having the sales conversations, if you're having them with people who don't know you yet, you've got to be a master at that conversation. And you've got to really be able to show people the value that you offer and that they're going to achieve. But you also have to be really good at being able to qualify the people that you get on these calls with to make sure that they are going to be people who take the action to get the results, that they are committed to changing their results. And I've also had people say to me, well, if you aren't willing to do it now, you're not really committed to your business. And to me, that's bullshit. And I will never say that to somebody. I had a business coach early on, like in 2012, right after I started my business, who told me when he was growing his business, he went out to, I think it was 14 networking events a week. And he had a staff member who also went out to 14 networking events a week. So they hit 28 networking events a week promoting his business. Terrific, right? And when I told him, geez, I can't do that. My kids are 7 and 11. I need a babysitter every single time I leave the house. I have no family here to support me. I have no spouse. And I can't afford to pay a babysitter to go to a networking event that might not result in anything at that point in time, because networking events can be hit and miss, right? And he looked me in the face and said, you are not committed to your business. And I said, I left this meeting in tears, drove home in tears. We ended up not working together anymore because I said, that's bullshit. I am completely committed to my business, but the linearity of it is going to be different than yours. My progress is going to be different than yours. So somebody could be committed to doing the work, but is not able to do everything you tell them. Will they still get results? That's so important, that they don't have to do everything exactly how you did it in order to get and achieve the results that they want. So to get clients on Facebook, you've got to follow those 4 steps. They don't have to take a long time to do those 4 steps. And people can quickly jump from I don't know you to ready to be a lead for you. You just have to have a proactive approach to making sure that you qualify those people and then proactively move them in. Now, I had a sales call with somebody. They were trying to sell me a program, and it was a great program, and it was awesome. It did not fit in my plans for this quarter, and I had maxed out already my budget, what I was going to spend for this quarter. I've earmarked money to things. So I said, not right now. So they said, no problem. They said, how about if you just pay a deposit and you've got 24 hours to pay that deposit, and if you pay that deposit in 24 hours, then you can jump in at any time you want, and if you decide it's not right for you, we'll refund the deposit. And I really felt this pressure. The 24-hour thing didn't sit with me. Paying a deposit to hold a spot didn't sit with me. And they said, you have 24 hours. Now, I got really busy and 24 hours passed and I didn't reply. I didn't do anything. I kind of forgot about it. And they've never followed up with me. And I still see their ads. So I'm asking, how committed were they to my journey? And they haven't even reached out to me. And that's fine. I know who they are. But you have to be proactive and committed to the process. And you can do this on Facebook, but you have to have a strategy. And just posting for the sake of posting is not going to cut it. So I hope that answers Nancy's question. I hope she joins us live. I'm going to reply to her and tell her I answered her question right here in this Facebook Live today. If you have questions that you would like answered about how to grow your business, about how to get visible on Facebook, about how to get clients from Facebook, about how to create real prospects, how to get leads that are really qualified for your offers, please let me know what those questions are. And if you are ready to move to the next level in your business, if you're ready to create a strategy and implement a strategy of collecting leads and getting more people into conversations with you and growing your email list, then I would invite you to book a totally complimentary 30-minute strategy session with me. And let's get on the phone and have a conversation and let me deep dive into your business. I guarantee you, you will get no hard pressure from me and you will get value from me. You will walk away with at least one tip that I will share freely with you to help you grow your business and help you achieve your goals. So I'm going to put the link in here if you would like to book a complimentary strategy session with me to discuss what you're doing in your business and what to do next to help you get more clients and customers in your business. Please go ahead and book that. I've got spots available this week and I would love to speak with you. Thank you for being with me today. I hope you got some value out of that. Please give me a heart if you did. Give me a comment. Let me know if this was helpful to you. And let me know if you have any specific questions that you'd like me to answer next week, because I'll be back next Monday at 10 a.m. again with another episode of the Sherri-Lee Show. Have a great week, and don't forget to book your session with me.